Rain poured down hard that night, merciless, cold, and endless. In a quiet suburban neighborhood, a small flickering light shone from a house that had seen better days. Inside sat Clara Dawson, a 32-year-old woman who once had dreams of being a writer. But life had beaten her down with unpaid bills, loneliness, and the weight of her past mistakes. Her husband had left 2 years ago, her job had been cut 6 months back, and her mother, her only real family, had passed away last winter. Now, she survived by doing odd jobs, writing online articles for pennies, and trying to keep the roof from caving in. That night, she was sitting by her old heater, sipping lukewarm coffee, when a noise startled her, a loud crash outside near the garage. She grabbed a flashlight, trembling slightly. The storm's wind howled as she stepped out, her slippers soaking instantly in the muddy puddle. Inside her garage, cold, cluttered, and dimly lit, she saw him. A man, drenched from head to toe, shivering. His clothes were torn, his beard unkempt, and his face pale from exhaustion. I'm sorry," he stammered, his voice weak. "I just needed to get out of the rain. I'll go." Clara hesitated. Something in his eyes stopped her, tired, desperate, yet strangely gentle eyes. "No," she said softly. "Stay. Just for tonight." He looked up at her in disbelief. "You don't even know me." Clara smiled faintly. "You look like you need help. And I've been there too." She brought him a blanket, an old thermos of soup, and a towel. He introduced himself as Michael, no last name given. He said he'd lost everything, though he didn't say how. They talked for a while, awkward at first, then easier. Clara learned that he'd been walking for days, looking for work, but no one wanted to hire a man who looked like him. She didn't pry. She knew what it felt like to be judged for what you'd become instead of who you were. Before going inside, she whispered, "Good night, Michael. You're safe here." He smiled for the first time that night. "Thank you, Clara. You have no idea what that means." The next morning, she made pancakes, thin, slightly burnt, but filled with kindness. When she went to the garage, Michael was already awake, folding the blanket neatly. "I'll be on my way," he said. "I don't want to be a burden." "You're not," Clara replied, handing him a plate. "Eat first." He ate quietly, and when he finished, he looked at her with emotion he couldn't hide. "You helped me when you didn't have to. People don't do that anymore." Clara shrugged. "Maybe they should." He nodded, then left into the misty morning, disappearing down the road. She didn't even ask where he was going. Weeks passed. Life went on, lonely, slow, and gray. The storm had damaged her roof, and she couldn't afford to fix it. She was falling behind on rent again. Still, every night she thought about that man and wondered if he was okay. Then one afternoon, a black car pulled into her driveway. Out stepped a man in a suit, holding an envelope. "Ms. Dawson?" he asked. "I'm here on behalf of Mr. Michael Hensley." She blinked. "Who?" The man smiled. "Mr. Hensley, the gentleman you allowed to stay in your garage during the storm. He asked me to deliver this to you personally." He handed her the envelope and left before she could ask more. Inside was a letter, and a check. She gasped. The check was for $250,000. Her hands trembled as she read the letter. "Greater than, Clara, the night you gave a stranger shelter, you saved more than you knew. I was not just homeless, I was lost. A few months ago, my wife and daughter died in a car accident. I left everything behind, unable to live with my guilt. That night in your garage reminded me that kindness still exists, that life can still be good. I rebuilt my strength, went back to my company, and decided to make sure people like you are never forgotten. Please use this to rebuild your life. And know that the world needs more souls like yours. Michael Hensley." Tears streamed down her face. She didn't care about the money. It was the words, the recognition, that broke her heart open. She looked up toward the sky, whispering, "Thank you." Months later, Clara had a new life. Her house was repaired, her debts paid off, and her writing had started to gain traction online. She created a small nonprofit that helped struggling families find shelter during storms. She named it Michael's Promise. And every rainy night, she'd light a candle by her garage window. Because she knew, somewhere out there, kindness had come full circle. Ending narration for YouTube voiceover. Sometimes, a single act of kindness can rewrite someone's story. You may never know how much your small gesture means, but it might just change a life, or even save one. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe for more stories of love, faith, and kindness.